Coach Sharpley, thank you very much for your time. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm good, thank you. Congratulations, your under-17s won by 2-0. How was the game?
It was an interesting game. You can see we didn't train together for a while, preparing for Engine. So it was stop-start, but it's been good second half, playing with 10 men, had good shape and structure, having to defend deep against a team that's very good in possession, which is School of Excellence, what they're known for. But other than that, a good performance. I'm not really worried about the result. It's development football.
You mentioned the structure. How important is to focus on such things like the structure and just other elements of development rather than the results at this particular stage?
If you follow the long-term player development structure, in terms of where we get to from right now, we're working with 15, 16-year-olds at under 17 level. You're getting to the stage of where they need to start competing. Once you get to under 19, it's the stage where they need to play for win. I'm talking in terms of long-term player development, the stages of development. So from that perspective, right now, the main we focus a lot on the principles of the game, both defensive and attacking principles. Obviously, in the modern game, it's important to focus and also teach and coach transition, those elements. But there's keen focus on tactical elements. Still a lot of focus on technical development, because a lot of players, in terms of their formative development, weren't coached properly. So there's still a lot of focus on that within the Highland structure. If you see our training sessions, our warm-up sessions, as much as there's a focus on getting players fitter, stronger, faster, there's also which is a philosophy that we have at the club. The aim is always to compete in terms of setting up coaching players properly based on the development stage that they are in.
Coach, talking about the development stages, can you just please help us understand within the Highland structure, what are those stages and what are those age groups? Like, for example, you'll tell us between, say, age 8 and 12, what elements of development are you looking at? And when the kid moves then to under 14, what then do we then teach them? So starting from, I think you
Sure.
have under 9s.
Yeah, the Highland structure is such that you've got the GDL structure that falls almost kind of under the first team professional arm, and then you've got a junior structure that sits at our Linksfield in Camel Park, where that starts from under 6, and you've got that side even goes up to under 17, and then from the GDL structure obviously starts from under 13, under 15, under 17 and under 19, and this is basically where you find yourself having, for lack of a better word, and it's an ugly word to use, you've got elite juniors with an aim that are exceptional in terms of either their technical ability, their athleticism. So there's a focus in, obviously, from under 9, the fundamentals. Then we move, when we get to under 13, and start focusing on technical elements in terms of understanding game situations and reading game and managing the game, and making them understand basic tactical principles, which then overflows into under 15. And like I said, second year under 15, coming into under 17, you then start focusing on the aspects and elements of competing. And then once boys, we've got some boys that are still under 17 playing in our under 19 structure for the under 19 team that is now playing at a level where they need to compete. And then obviously we've got under 19 that will, if they progress into the first team. And that is in terms of the structure, in terms of continuity, which is a focus within Highlands Park.
Quite comprehensive structure that you've got there. How important is that the fundamentals at under 9? How important is to get that right there and to get the kids playing at that level, so that when you go to your under 13s and you're bringing in the technical, you've already built a foundation?
The foundation of football is technical development. Technical development is very important and is crucial in terms of how a player will develop over years. If you get to under 17, players struggle to trap or players struggles to pass, then it means at a formative under 9 level to under 12 level, the basics weren't covered properly there. And once you have the understanding, or if players have an understanding of how to manipulate the ball, the older they get, the easier it becomes for them to understand the tactical aspects, understand the principles of defending, principles of attacking, because the technical side has been sorted and has been resolved. So that is the important thing. Often we like to coach the older boys, but at a junior level it's so crucial that the formative development and formative coaching of players gets done properly, because then that way you've got a flow of players going through to your older ages and ultimately professional football.
Coach, you recruit players obviously from all over the place, and some at times you recruit a player, maybe say he's 14, 15, and he didn't come through your structures. What challenges do you face with players perhaps who didn't develop within a formal development structure, didn't get the basics right, but they have the talent, the raw talent? So what challenges do you face when they come in and you have to now teach them some of the things they should have learned in the fundamentals level?
So what happens? You can't say it's a one size fit all. What tends to happen is you'll find a player is technically very good, but then technically he struggles or physically he struggles, or from an athleticism perspective he lacks a little bit. Or you'll find a player is athletically, very fast, he's good, he can run in behind players and that, but then from a technical execution he struggles. So there's no cliche that you can say, there's this and there's that. It varies from player to player. And it's a matter of you as a coach identifying what the focus is from an individual player, understanding where they are in their physical development as well, and then you then set up programs accordingly around that as well, both within individual, group, and within the team structure. That's so important that you can't just focus on the team alone. You have to focus on the group and individual based on, especially if you recruit them at under 15 or age 15, 16, then it becomes important that you focus and understand what the development areas are of the player.
Last one, Coach. South Africans generally, we are small in stature. We are not strong like the West Africans. At what stage of the player's development do you now start to look at the physical aspect of it, to say now they need to bulk up so that they can compete with players from all over the world in their age groups?
I think, again, it depends on where the player is in his physical development stage. It's difficult for me as a coach, under 17 coach for instance, to do weight training, because at this age boys start shooting up. And if you do the wrong training at the wrong time and you focus on the wrong muscles at the wrong time, you can then mess them up for years to come with muscle injuries, lower back, upper leg injuries and that. So it depends on where the player is in his development, because certain players you can see, we've got a lot of parents around, and you tend to gauge from there as well that, okay, this boy's dad is short, all right, looks like he's already there. Okay, he should be physically, we can perhaps try and push him a little bit more. But it becomes important, I think, for me at under 19 level. Right now at under 17 and under 15 level, for me, it's very important that you do weight training, for instance, with their physical weight only, with body weight, and not so much on focus on weight training and that. So that is an important element. And you have to adapt your players accordingly to what their strengths are. And you can't force a player that's small in stature to play a physical game. You got to adapt it around that, because if a player is technically good but physically not strong enough, he doesn't say he cannot make it into professional football. You got to adapt as a coach. As a development coach, I want to highlight, you got to adapt and look at those elements and aspects and adapt accordingly to the individual's needs.
Coach, let me put you on the spot here. You're a development coach. Our national team coach, Hugo Gross, has made some comments regarding our standard and quality. Is that an indictment on our development coaches that they are not producing the quality that is expected at that level?
I think it's an indictment on South African football at large. If you look at professional football set up within the game, we've got professional coaches that don't have CAF B license, never mind a SAFA C and a SAFA D. It's an indictment on our development structures where, like you had asked in your initial question, a lot of people play just to win. I'm of the opinion, if we do things right at the bottom, you'll get it right at the top, and everything will flow into it. So I think it's an indictment on South African football at large, not necessarily development of football only, not necessarily our administrators only, not necessarily our development, our professional arms only. It's an indictment on South African football at large.
One day, Coach, I'll come back, we'll talk about solutions. We've analyzed the
Sure.
problem now. One day we'll discuss solutions. Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you. No, pleasure. Thanks for your time. Thanks.